everybody, I'm Jessi Stone and welcome to Bitch and Wine. Cheers. So today I have my friend Dani Silvers with me today, and we are going to talk about all things gardening and spring, and we are out at her farm on Jay Creek. I know you might be able to hear and see the chickens as we record. So first, Dani, I want you to just tell us your story. Tell us, how you became such a good, how you developed your green thumb.
Well, I guess really it started here. This is my grandparents' property, and fortunate enough to have something like this in the family, My grandmother farmed all this, everything that you can't see behind you too. Tomatoes, beans, tobacco, early tobacco, and all that. And I remember being here growing up, and she would throw a bag of whatever she's putting on the plants for the day and grab her utensils and took to the field. And I just really chased her around for a long time.
What was your grandmother's name?
Carolyn. And my mother's mother, one of the strongest ladies I know.
Yeah, you learned a lot from her.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So she did that for a really long time and had a couple of bad years, and then ended up getting out of commercially doing that, and just went to family garden, and always had something going. A lot of this community here in the valley, we're all, family basically, and
you've still got a lot of family around here on this property. So.
Yeah, and then people stopping by and trading out stuff, bartering,
That's how she got her donkey. I don't know if you can see the donkey. I don't think that you can't see the donkey right now, but you bartered the donkey, right?
Yeah, I actually, yeah, did,
It's really distracting because there's chickens like all around me, so I'm just like, chickens.
Yeah, I think I'm up 26.
26 chickens.
I don't think they're all here right at the moment, but.
So tell us, I know you did a lot during COVID, during the pandemic. Tell us about how this garden grew during the pandemic.
Yeah, so I guess when it goes back to saying how I got started, I kind of lost it for a long time, with school and then college and going off and traveling a little bit. I hadn't had a garden in years, and COVID really helped to put some time back into the schedule and being able to get back into it, and then really realizing how much it meant to me.
Right.
So
yeah, you spent a lot of time out here last spring and summer. Tell about all the things you built out here. What all your projects.
So we hadn't had chickens here in a really long time. So it started with that. Moral of the story, you have to outsmart the fox and hawks and everything else, because everything likes chicken.
Yeah.
So it started with a little intermediate coop. I've got adult coops on the hill, and rebuilt the grapevine. I remember being a kid, and that was my fort, And she has a grapevine up there my grandmother planted probably 35 years ago. So got it back off the ground, and it's got some nice runners between last year and this year coming in. It'll probably still be a couple years before you get grapes again, but
that's awesome.
It's in the works.
Can you make wine? You gonna make wine?
They're not that kind.
Not that kind of grapes.
Yeah, they're not that kind of grapes.
So just enjoy the grapes. I was hoping we would get it in a big,
juice and jelly.
We could get to squish them. I just want to squish them. I just want to put my feet in a big thing of grapes.
Yeah, it reminds me of that I Love Lucy episode.
Yes. Yeah, everybody wants to do that. That's okay. I just want to feel my feet in the grapes.
Yeah.
Or Dani also does some, some yard. I don't know. What do you call it?
like
landscaping,
design and
design.
installation. Yeah.
She'll come plant stuff for you, and then all you have to do is take care of it.
Or I can just come back and keep taking care of it, like a little tender.
This is even better for me because I want the prettiness, right? I want the garden, I want the plants, but I do not have your green thumb. I have a black thumb. So Dani can do all that for you, and you can have a pretty yard.
And also, I'm trying to make this space here kind of like a community membership box, and anything that doesn't get used or whatever after canning and sharing with people, and gleaning into the community gardens and stuff. Maggie, I'm in touch with them, so doing Maggie's community garden.
Awesome.
And they have a really beautiful space too.
They do.
Oh, tips. You know, I think plants are like people. They have to have the right environment, you know, to be successful and to be happy and healthy. What works for one space won't work for another. So it's kind of really tailoring what everyone has and wants to do. You could want to have, you know, something that loves, like a tomato needs 6-8 hours of light, and if you only get 3, you know, you're not going to be able to do that.
That is important, especially here in the mountains. You know, a lot of people don't get that much. You might only get a few hours of sunlight hitting the yard.
Yeah, so we're pretty fortunate here. I mean, I have to worry about things of it getting too much sun. Yeah, so that's like behind us, the lettuce bed that you can see. It has a sunshade on it, so it kind of keeps it.
Some shade. We're really big on the pollinators, right? I mean, you're big on that. So tell us, you know, if somebody who wants to support their local bee population.
Well, as you can see, my yard is overgrown, which a
on
lot
purpose.
of people hate.
So when I don't, you know, mow my grass for a few weeks, I can just say, you know, this is all for the bees and the snakes that are in my yard. Maybe not so much, but.
Yeah, no, so a lot of the early stuff, especially here in the mountains, because we've just now crossed the frost barrier.
Hopefully,
you know.
It's been close.
Yeah, well, you know, a couple years ago on May 20-something, we ended up getting that late frost. I lost all my blueberry bushes. Or blueberries on them.
So the general rule is Mother's Day. After Mother's Day, it's okay
15th.
To plant.
The 15th.
Okay. But even then, could catch you by surprise.
Oh, yeah.
I know. My sibling just moved to Asheville and started planting a garden in like March, and I was like,
don't.
But they've covered it pretty well. They've got just a couple of raised beds, and they've covered it, so I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, if you can get some shelter over it, that's fine. Well, you know, we all have spring fever, and I think in the last year, coming into the second couple of months with the pandemic and stuff, you know, everybody's getting spring fever, and we get a couple of trichias springs.
Fake springs.
Yeah.
Lies.
Yeah, rule of thumb, there's roughly 3. Some people say 2. But you have a red bud, which people aren't really... Not everybody says that. And then you have a dogwood and a blackberry. So blackberry winter was just this past week, and hopefully we're sailing into it. But yeah, so my early pollinator things, dead nettle and creeping, and clover, dandelion, ragwort, you know, all the stuff that gets out quick. And then a lot of my garden will have salvias and mints and marigolds and nasturtium, a lot of things that bloom to kind of draw things in. And I'll have a flower bed with zinnias and hyssop and forget-me-nots, you know, all the things that you can possibly think of. Bee balms, yeah.
Bee balms.
Pull them in. And it's not just honeybees, you know, that,
All bees.
yeah, I mean, I can find at any point in time, I have wasps and carpenter bees are pollinators, flies, you know. They all get out here. They all get out here and do some good stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty cool. Well, Dani gave me some sunflower sprouts that I am desperately trying not to kill.
You're doing well so far.
So far, I've
Yeah.
not killed it. I'm very proud. Sunflowers are my favorite. They're both of our favorites. We love sunflowers. Must be a ginger thing. I don't know. So you've been working at the greenhouse. Tell us about which greenhouse you're at. And
Oh, so this greenhouse is very dear to my heart. My grandparents took me there when I was 6, 7 years old. And Miss Karen has been in business 48 years.
48 years. Wow.
Started this when she was in high school. And she's amazing. She's like an encyclopedia. I just stand beside her, trying to sponge it in.
And that's what we think of you with all your knowledge. So
I just want to be a sponge.
And this is the Red Barn.
On Delwood.
Red Barn on Delwood.
Yeah.
You can find Dani there.
A couple days a week.
Yeah. So if you need some tips, you want to go harass her,
go ask Miss Karen.
can't miss
She's
her.
got it. Miss Karen is awesome.
All right. Well, so tell people if they want your assistance, if they want you to come plant their garden, do all the things.
So Dani Red Garden on Facebook, D Red Garden on Instagram. Like I said, we're just kind of getting started. This has been within the last year. Let's try it. I like doing it. It's mental health therapy for me.
She
honestly.
loves it.
And they make fun of me because from now until October, my hands will be permanently stained.
You can tell
with
she has
dirt.
been in the dirt. That's great. Love
Yeah,
her.
I got to finish a bed today for a client. That was pretty cool.
She got a message from a client today who loved it, and she almost started crying. That's how much she loves this.
Yeah.
So if you want somebody that's really passionate about it, this is your girl.
Oh, thanks, guys.
She's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we got to be out in the garden. I've been friends with her for years, and I haven't been out here, so this is my first time. So now I can say I have been out to Penny House.
Yeah. It's a good space.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you have great luck in your gardens this year. Get to planting. It is now safe. Call Dani if you have a black thumb and need some assistance. And we will see you next time on Bitch and Wine. Cheers.